45. Let's all stand to sing. 4 or 5. 45. Is this thing on? All right. Jason turns it on when I announce the page and then turns it off when I start to sing. That's a good idea. Page 45 for those of you who are still talking in the back. Here we go. Would you be free from the burden of sin? There's power in the blood, power in the blood. Would you or evil a victory win? There's wonderful power in the blood. There is power, power, wonder-working power in the blood of the Lamb. There is power, power, wonder-working power in the precious blood of the Lamb. Would you be free from your passion and pride? There's power in the blood, power in the blood. Come for a cleansing to Calvary's tide. There's wonderful power in the blood. There is power, power, wonder-working power in the blood of the Lamb. There is power, power, wonder-working power in the precious blood of the Lamb. Last verse. Would you do service for Jesus your King? There's power in the blood, power in the blood. Would you live daily his praises to sing? There's wonderful power in the blood. There is power, power, wonder-working power in the blood of the Lamb. The wonder-working power in the precious blood of the Lamb. Thank you. Have a seat. Let's go, Lord, in prayer. Does anybody have a spoken prayer request? Okay. Okay. And Bruce is still in the hospital, so keep him in your prayers. But his condition's getting better, his lungs are getting better, and the heart's getting better. So keep praying. They're going to have to do something eventually with a mass in his lungs, but he's recovering. At least he's not on the ventilator. Is not needing. I think they would give him 7 times or something as much oxygen as what's required just to try to keep him moving. Now he's in. I think he's in a step down unit. We'll see him this afternoon. I haven't got to see him, and I'm anxious to get up there. Matter of fact, we can dismiss now. I'll go up there and see him. But I'm just kidding. So I'm anxious to get up there and see him this afternoon. So, all right, anyone else with prayer requests? And it has nothing to do with Jimmy's cooking? Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. All right. Anybody else with a spoken prayer request? How many have as a family you'd like to see them in church that's out of church today? Just out, you'd like to see them in church? All right. Let's pray. All right. Heavenly Father, we thank you for your love and mercy and your goodness to us. I pray that you'll work in our church, through our church family today. Thank you for the blessings to be here, the opportunity to serve you today. I pray that you're blessing all the requests, Lord. I pray for those that are sick, for healing, for those who have spiritual needs, Lord, for the needs to be filled. I pray that you'll use us today in our Sunday school hour and in the church hour that the spiritual needs will be met. Thank you for your love and your mercy. Thank you, Jesus, for dying on the cross for us and the wonderful life you've given us. Please bless this day. In Jesus' name we ask. Amen. All right, you can be dismissed to Sunday school class. Hey, Becca. Your Sunday school girls will sing the same. For next week. I know. You should go spring it on them. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay. Thank you very much. I'll get to the door. Who's your teacher? Oh, he's come back. Okay. Come on through. I can do it for you. Yeah, he needed them steps awful big when your legs are that short. All right, we're excited to be back. We missed you guys last week. I thought about everybody last week. We watched the Sunday school and church services last week on the cell phone, which we're on vacation. I don't know, we've tried to do that before, and a lot of times we've been driving during the service and try to catch it. It didn't work out so well, but last week was great. How many of you were here last week when Travis taught Sunday school and the life of Christ and through the book of John? And I just keep reading more things of the book of John, and it may not be all on soul winning, but it all comes down to our influence on other people. And I love the idea that God uses people to reach people. God uses us. If we'll allow him to, he'll use us to bring glory to him by influencing other people, whether it's somebody we work with, their family members, what the situation is. Okay, John chapter 6. And if you haven't, Mrs. Turley's here for the first time. If you have a question, feel free to ask. And in Sunday school hour, not during the preaching hour, 11 o'clock, we don't have to take questions because I think slow. Sometimes I talk too fast, but I think slow. But if you have a question during Sunday school, just fire away with the questions, okay? John chapter 6, look at verse 15. I'll start reading right there. All these stories are familiar to us, okay? John chapter 6, verse 15. When Jesus therefore perceived that they would come and take him by force to make him a king, he departed again into a mountain himself alone. And when even was now come, his disciples went down into the sea and entered into a ship and went over the sea toward Capernaum. And it was now dark, and Jesus was not come to them. And the sea arose by reason of a great wind that blew. So when they had rowed about 25 or 30 furlongs, they see Jesus walking on the water, walking on the sea, and drawing nigh unto the ship. And they were afraid. But he said to them, "It is I, be not afraid." Then they willingly received him into the ship, and immediately the ship was at land whither they went. So reading right there. Okay. Jesus with the disciples. He had just fed 5,000 men, besides women, children. Just fed all these people, and the people were wanting to make him. After being fed like this, they wanted to make him a king. They'd seen his miracles. They knew what he was doing. They'd heard his preaching, teaching, and they wanted to make him a king. But he was not sent to establish his kingdom at that time. He will establish it in future time. But he came to seek and save that which was lost. I just slowed it down. Let me turn this thing down a little bit so I can slow. Am I going too fast? Okay. I feel like I'm going. Okay. Okay. So he sent. If you read Matthew and Mark, the description of the same illustration, the same story here is told. John left out the part about Jesus, Peter stepping out on the water, walking to Jesus, but it's the same night, same thing happened. Okay. If you read in Matthew and Mark, you'll find that Jesus sent his disciples away. Now he may have said, "I want you to go to get in the ship," and told them where to go. He sent them away, and he just kind of dispersed the congregation while he went up on the mountain to pray. Okay. What was he praying for? I think he's praying up a storm because the disciples were out on the sea, and there's a big storm's going to hit them. And most of these guys, or half of these guys, are fishermen and used to the storms at night, but they're afraid this night when a storm hits. Okay. He's up on top of the mountain. And I think about this. They're exactly where he has sent them. I think about problems we go through in life. There's a lot of times you may get in trouble and you know it's your fault. Raise your hand. Danny, raise your hand. That's good. Okay. You do. Where pointing at Ted? You pointing at Jim. You're pointing that direction. I'm not sure who you're pointing at, but all of the above. Okay. You get in trouble when you know. What was that? Thank you. All of the above. Okay. You ever get in trouble when you know you look up and you think, "I shouldn't have done that." Okay. This is happening because I just did what I just did. We come home on the turnpike last night. I got my easy pass, but we're in a rental car. And so I just hold up against the windshield, as you go through the Easy Pass thing. So, and someone's going to tell me they're not supposed to do that because you're supposed to be licensed for your one single vehicle. And when Department of Highway is going to get on me to let me know. Okay, but we came to the last. I'm sticking up against the windshield and driving on through at 70 miles an hour like you're supposed to. You're supposed to slow down to about 5. Okay. After I went through. Yeah, usually the light goes off as you're passing through. Y'all take the turnpike. I take the turnpike every week for work. So I know that, and I hold the thing up there. And so As you drive through, usually as you get about right here to where this light is, as you get about right here, it changes green. You're still rolling, right? So as I got right here, just as I passed it, it said stop. Okay, the little green light didn't come on. Well, by the time I stopped, I was about where Gary's at, and Tammy said, it said stop, you need to go back. And I go back up, okay? So I know I'm going to get, they can take a license, picture your license plate, so I know, and it's happened before. You get a little letter in the mail, and you owe this amount of money, pay, send a check in, it's $4, whatever, okay? Maybe it's $24 because it's a penalty, whatever. You ever do something and you think, okay, I shouldn't have done what I just did, and here's the consequence for it, okay? The disciples at this point are doing exactly what Jesus told them to do. Get in the ship. They had a big day. They're doing everything they're supposed to be doing. And he said, get in the ship, go to the other side, and a storm comes up. Okay? God sometimes puts us in things that strike fear in our hearts, really just to increase our faith. Because he knows what he's going to do. He knew, like it says early in the scriptures, he knew when he asked the disciples how we're going to feed all these people, he already knew what he was going to do. When he told the disciples to get in the ship and go to the other side, he knew exactly what he was going to do. He knew he was sending them into the storm, and he knew he was going to go up on the mountain. He was going to walk across the sea to them in the middle of the night. If you're doing what you're supposed to be doing and a storm hits, this goes to everybody in the room, okay? If you're doing what you know you're supposed to be doing and a storm hits, look for him, because he's there in the midst of the storm. I think about this often when people go stuff. 2 weeks ago on Sunday morning, Patty said, pray for Bruce. He's really sick, right? And she told me some of the stuff was going on, but at that point he wasn't in ICU, and his lungs weren't filling up with pneumonia or whatever it was, and they didn't know about a mass in his lungs or whatever. They didn't know any of this stuff, okay? And they reminded me, because I immediately went to the hospital when I found out that he was in ICU and still in the emergency room, whatever way, Monday night or Tuesday night, and I went to the hospital to see them, and they went through this story with me, which I already knew a lot of this story of the last 2 years with her cancer and different things, that their prayer requests, because they feel they're doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing. She teaches the kids on Wednesday night. They, whatever, if the neighbor kids want to come to church, they brought the neighbor kids to church and the vacation Bible school and things, and they're doing what they feel they're supposed to be doing. But they brought this up to me again while we're in the nursing, in the emergency room. When she went through the cancer, and it really took a year of the treatments and the sickness and all the weakness that she had. When they went through that, they said it then, and they said it again to me the other day. They never asked for healing. They asked for God to show them what he wanted to show them. Y'all remember her standing up and testifying to that, or he stood up and testified to that? And they're asking, in this same situation, Bruce is saying that he's not really praying for healing. How many of you praying for his healing, right? We want him to be healed. We're praying for his healing, and God's doing the work there, and we're thankful for what he's doing. But their prayer request is not, God, give me healing so I can go do what I want to do, okay? A lot of times, James chapter 1, a lot of times we ask for what we ask for just so we can consume it upon our own lust. We don't get our prayers answered. James chapter 3, I think it is. We don't get our prayers answered because we just want to do what we want to do. I want to go, okay, we were at Disney World this week. I enjoy going to Disney World. I really have fun. It's fun watching Josiah. Anybody ride the Buzz Lightyear ride? Is anybody on this? A couple people nod your head. Most people not. Okay, what happens is you're shooting. It's a little ride for kids, and you got 2 guns, and 2 people can shoot at little targets things with a light. Okay, Buzz Lightyear, Buzz. You know it is. But there's also a thing in the middle. I won't do this because Dave will get mad at me. There's a little joystick in the middle. You can move it like this and your cart spins this way. Or you move it like this and your cart spins this way. Okay? So Josiah got to drive while me and Tammy were shooting. Okay? Okay? I helped him occasionally, but most of the time we're shooting stuff going like this. Okay? And we had all kinds of fun. I just enjoyed being here. Go shoot this way, whatever. And then, okay, I don't want to live at Disney World. Okay? I don't want to live there. None of us do. Okay? Except people that work there, and to them it's just work, right? We go through trials all the time. Every one of us, okay? Look for him. Because we don't live in Disney World. We don't live on vacation until you retire. Dave and Marie retired. Ted was almost retired and he had to go back to work. Okay, but at some point, it's not vacation all the time. We know why. You got tired of the honeydew list, so we're going back to work. Okay. I remember Jack Patterson talking about it, but he used to travel. When we were in college, he would travel and preach everywhere, all across the country. He had worked in a men's shelter type thing before for under Lester Roloff, and he's back for the last, I think, 20 years now. He's working in like a group home, men's shelter thing, rescue mission type thing, if I remember what he's doing now. But I remember him talking about traveling different places and preaching. There's some place in Texas, and these three sisters came up to sing before he preached. He said it was just amazing to him to hear them sing. The three sisters standing there, the middle one was blind, and as they walked to the mic, walked up, grabbed the microphone, and started singing. The other ones got held on to one of them as they approached the podium to sing. He told the pastor afterwards. He said, "I really loved hearing those girls sing. It was like the greatest blessing he ever received in his life by hearing these three girls sing." The preacher said, "You want to meet them? You want to go to the house?" He said, "Yeah." He took them to a little tar paper shack on the edge of town. They had absolutely nothing, and their house was really wrapped with like a tar paper building material type stuff, and that was their house. Okay, that's where they lived. But Brother Patterson sang from this verses that we're reading. Here comes Jesus, he's a-walking on the water. He's coming after me, so I can make it today. Here comes Jesus, he's the master of the sea. He's a-coming after me, so I can make it today. And Brother Patterson he had everything in life he ever wanted, I suppose, but he said the greatest blessing was to realize these girls were fully trusting in him, doing exactly what he wanted. Knowing that we go through the storms, okay, and we can see him if we want to see him. If we're doing what we're supposed to do, we'll go through the storm. Statement on Wednesday, we look for him, we'll see him. We'll see him if we're looking. Statement on 2 is this. He comes to us in every storm, in everything we go through. Denny, when you fell off the roof and broke your ankle, did you learn anything? Did you feel his presence? In learning something from him. Did you ever go through something and you think you're doing what you're supposed to be doing and something bad happens, you go through a trial? Do you ever think that God's there? But you know he is, okay? I'll never leave you nor forsake you. And sometimes we just claim to those words, but sometimes it's like, I want to know what you're teaching me. I want to know what you're showing me, okay? There's things we've gone through in the last couple of years. I think, what are you trying to show me? What are you trying to teach me? He said, I'm showing you something. Just wait. Okay? You're a slow learner, but you're learning. Okay? Third thing is, acknowledge his presence. He said to the disciples, his eye, be not afraid. You know the worst thing you ever go through in life, you can look up and say, and hear his voice saying, his eye, be not afraid. There's nothing better than that. I'm right here with you, no matter. And we can acknowledge his presence, or we can just go through life and say, whatever. And you get upset about it. If you get upset about it, it's because you got the same attitude as everyone else does. It's all about me, okay? And I get that way sometimes. Get upset about, why is this happening? Okay. Sometimes when we go through the storm, most often we look at it as how does it affect us? Okay. I guess the main part of the lesson I want to get to this morning is this: when you see other people going through the storms, how does it affect other people? Or this storm that we're going through, how does it affect somebody else? If we're the one going through the storm, how does it affect somebody else? Or to look to the other person and say, they're going through it too. Okay? My dad went out of business when I was about 6 years old, and often he spoke about, because people would ask about the business things, and he spoke about the business, and it wasn't until later, it wasn't until I was an adult that I realized that somebody else had tragedy in their business at the same time. Okay, that there was more than him just being involved in his individual sole proprietorship of the business going under, that there was other people involved, that it had an effect on the business as well. Okay, I never thought of it as a kid. So I guess turn to James chapter 1, verse 27. James, it's the last verse in James chapter 1. It's right after Hebrews. Because the storms come to everybody's life, but most often we don't see it in somebody else's life. We think, well, they caused that themselves. Okay, how many of you ever look at somebody else and say they got themselves into that mess, right? They made their bed, let them lay in it, right? My dad said it all the time. Okay, well, till it was us. Okay, James chapter 1, verse 27. Pure religion is what we're supposed to do. Okay, last verse in James chapter 1. Pure religion undefiled before God and the Father is this: to visit the fatherless and the widows in their affliction, and to keep himself unspotted from the world. About half our messages we preach try to keep you, so you know how to be unspotted from the world. But half the Sunday school lessons are to visit those that have a need, the fatherless and the widows. Okay, the people have gone. They're either going through a trial. And it's not just fatherless and widows. In this illustration, it's anybody that's going through a trial. Okay, there's some people that are widows and they're not. Bible uses First Timothy used the term widows indeed. They got family that takes care of them, whatever. Okay, but there's people that go through stuff, and we think, well, they did it. Okay, it's their fault. What if they didn't? Okay, what if it's a trial? What if they're obedient to Christ? They got in the ship, they're rowing across the sea, and the storm comes. What if it's them? Most often we say, well, that's you know what he did. Okay, you know what she did. It's their fault. Oftentimes, it's Christians just like you and me going through it. I guess the goal of the lesson is to look at the other people and say, okay, what can I do? How can I help them through the trial? How can I help them? Okay, sometimes it's not a hand out, it's a hand up. We know the terminology, but just to say, okay, they're going through it. How can I help them? Okay. Back to our story in John chapter 6. John chapter 6 does not give the part of the story about Peter walking on the water. Okay? But Peter, at one point, when they saw Jesus walking on the water, he said, "Be not, it is I, be not afraid." He said, "If it's you, bid me come unto you. If it's you, Lord, ask me to step out on the water." So by faith, Peter stepped out on the water, started walking to Jesus, walking on the sea, right? We know the story. Jesus walked towards them. He's walked towards Christ. Peter began to doubt, looked at the wind, the waves. He began to doubt, started to sink. Jesus reached out and grabbed him, right? It wasn't until they got back to the ship, they're still in the storm, right? If you read Matthew chapter 6, Peter walked on the water. I can't walk out here in the air, Jason. I know you expected me to do that. But he walked to Jesus. How far he went doesn't say how far he went. Okay, he began to sink. Jesus grabbed him. He said, "Wherefore didst thou doubt?" And as they're turning back, they're going back towards the disciples that are watching all this, but they're still in the storm. Okay? I guess the idea of this morning in the Sunday school lesson is, if you're going through it, if you see someone else going, if you get out here where Christ is at, if you look for him, you'll find him. If you look for him, you'll see it. Whatever you're going through, you'll see him. But then turn around and realize there's other people still in the storm. Okay? Someone else is going through it. At the same time you are. Again, we look at it as how does it affect us. If the three, I get the updates every day. Pay sent Rebecca updates, and Rebecca sent them to everybody else. I think about the storm Tammy's going through the last 4 or 5 years with her mom with the dementia thing. Okay, and I think Tammy and I kind of had this discussion because a lot of people in our church, their parents have gone through the same thing, either prior to or since then, or going through it now with parents having dementia or some sort of dementia. And I think oftentimes the reason we go through what we go through, sometimes look back and say, okay, how can I help the next person? And I've heard Tammy talking to people about stuff. I joked with my dad, said he never had dementia. He was always that way. Okay, that was funny. No one else laughed. Okay, that's supposed to be funny, right? Larry laughed because Larry since he was a kid. He was always the same, right? That was always that. Okay. But I listen sometimes when Tammy's talking to somebody else whose parents got to have dementia. I think the reason she's going through that, she's going through that storm, doing what she's supposed to be doing, but going through that storm, and then she's out there with Christ, looking back at somebody else and saying, we're coming back, we're coming. Okay, not that she could do anything, but Christ can. Okay, I think my family has about everybody in this room has been affected some way or another with the drug problem. Drug issues been going on in our communities. Been affected. Our church has been affected by it. Our friends have been affected by it. Our families have. And sometimes if someone goes through it, we think, how's it affect my family? But what goes on beyond that? Okay, what have I learned from what I've gone through that I can now go back and teach somebody else? Okay. Okay. That's the Sunday school lesson for this morning. Now let me ask you this: what have you gone through? What storm? Not stuff we cause ourselves. What storm have you gone through that you've turned around? You know God allowed you to go through it, so you can turn back around and say, "Let me help you." Okay. She's testifying. Right. Right. So we go through it sometimes so somebody else can see. Right. Just like Lazarus was raised from the dead. Right. Who wants to die twice? Right. He had died, but he was raised from the dead so others would see. Very good. Anybody else? You learn anything? What you've gone through? Some people live their lifetime not learn anything. But it really comes down to having this relationship, a personal relationship, that he's there. Okay? Sometimes I doubt. First of all, you're the preacher, ain't supposed to doubt. Anybody here besides me doubt? I doubt all the time. Okay, I know about salvation, is sure. Through Christ, I trusted Christ my Savior. But sometimes I look and say, why in the world are we doing this? Why in the world we go through this? Why is this happening? Okay? I know you got a plan. I just like to know what it is. Brother Howes gave the illustration of watching his mom when she was, I forget what it's called. It's not crocheting. It's needlework or whatever. You guys, like a flat piece of material, you needle and then something, and you see it from the top what it is. What's that called? Needle point? I don't know what it is. Okay. On the top, it looks like something. Brother Howes looks like, he remembers looking at his mom. Well, she's in a rocking chair. This is like in the 40s, whatever, 30s. And she would be doing something, and on the bottom, it just looks like jumbo colors. Didn't look like anything. But it wasn't until he got up on top of it to see what it was she was making to see, oh yeah, I can see what it is now. And it meant nothing to him from his angle, a little kid sitting on the floor. And a lot of times life situations we go through, a trial, look at something, I can't see anything here. It's like a cloudy day. Above the clouds, Becca's going to sing this morning on Above the Clouds. Above the clouds is clear, okay? Above the clouds, the picture's clear, right? Okay. Anybody else? Comments, questions? Yes, let's pray. Dismiss. Thank you, Lord, for loving us. I thank for the trials that you put us through. Help us to learn from it and realize that there's other people going through it too. Help us look to those around us and help those who can. Help us also to understand that we're in the midst of a storm. We're doing what we're supposed to be doing. Help us to look for you, knowing that you're there. You said, be not afraid as I. We know you're there. Help us have that confidence, live with that confidence. Thank you for your love and your mercy. Thank you for saving our soul from hell and the wonderful life you give us. Please bless our church family. In Jesus' name we ask, amen. Dismissed.